Aid Beyond Borders was founded in 2015, a nonprofit Armenian charity organization who helps families that are in extreme hardship, disabled children, and the elderly. Lilia, the vice president of the organization, was first inspired to do such humanitarian work when she learned that her friend Sona Manukian, who worked as an attorney in Armenia, was donating a portion of her income to families in desperate need of help. Today, after 4 years, Lilia, Rosanna, Sona, and Seda have dedicated endless hours to Aid Beyond Borders, helping and feeding 50 to 60 families and approximately 130 elderly a year. It is because of their compassion for others, dedication, and kindness that they have saved and improved the lives of hundreds of people in our motherland. Good evening, welcome to Kandid Koffee. I'm here with Lilia and Ruzan, who are the CEO and the Vice President of a charity organization called Aid Beyond Borders. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm happy to have you here. Okay, so let's talk about Aid Beyond Borders. I would love for you to tell our viewers firsthand from your experience, what is it exactly that you do for the men, women, children, and elderly in Armenia?
So, Aid Beyond Borders is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We help families, poor families, who don't have a way of survival, who cannot lean on the government because the government does not give much help. We help children with disabilities by providing them special equipment because most of the children who are disabled in villages are not able to come to Yerevan for treatments. Just costs, and most of them are poor. We help elderly who live alone, and whatever pension they get is just spent on medications and stuff. So we help them with food, about 7 to 8 months of food at a time.
You mentioned that a lot of the charity and funding go to children who have disabilities, who are unable to walk, and who need special equipment. And you just opened a facility about a week ago in Armenia. Could you tell us a little bit about how you opened the facility and what exactly it provides for the children who have special needs?
The idea of opening that room, it's called NO's Special Room, came from a request from the village because there are over 100 kids, disabled kids in the surrounding villages in that area. And they requested help from us to kind of have a room where these kids don't, just come and exercise and not go to Yerevan for treatment.
Right.
So I contacted one of my friends whose child is disabled here. Noi has cerebral palsy, and she was thrilled to be able to fund this project. We started on this project about 8 to 9 months ago. Took a lot of effort, but on April 30th, we opened the room.
Very nice. And it was mostly the contributions and ideas of this particular family who has a disabled child.
Yeah, most of the funding came from the boys' family, but there were 2 more contributors who kind of added equipment to the room because there was a lot of things that had to be done as far as construction, not construction, but overall maintenance and painting and
bringing it all together.
Yeah, making a ramp for wheelchair.
Wheelchair accessible.
So yeah, 2 of the equipment was donated to us by Matthew, who did a cookie fundraiser.
Here?
Yeah, here.
Wow.
Yeah, he did a cookie fundraiser. He raised funds and donated 2 of the equipment.
Wow. So this facility is located in Metz-Mazrik, and Rosanna was there for the grand opening. Tell me who was there and how excited everybody was to have that kind of a facility so close to home.
I had a privilege and honor to be part of the opening of this amazing facility that was organized by our organization, and it's amazing how they just invited us with flowers. It was very touching to receive flowers from school organizers, and we had the school principal there. We had actually the village mayor that they invited us to their school, and before we did the grand opening, they had a really big, nice table set for us. They were actually, we had parents and other people that are invited for the grand opening. It was a big ceremony, actually. And they had a dance group. They did some singing for us. It was a lot of performances by school students.
Wonderful.
It was very touching to be part of it. Yes. And then we did the grand opening. We had the red ribbon cutting ceremony, of course. And we invited everyone in. It was just one of the humbling experience for me to be part of it.
I can only imagine with people with such limited means to go out of their way to show their appreciation through the, I'm sure, variety of food on the table and the kindness that they were trying to give back to you with flowers and performances and
I have to admit, most of the time I was in tears. It's just from, I can't explain my feelings because I was happy at the same time. I was sad to experience the pain and the happiness at the same time. I was going through so much emotion, and the girl who was coordinated with us, Sona, individuals who helped us with organization, she was sitting next to me and says, "Rosanna, you have to stop crying. You're making me cry." So it was, I just want to explain how touching it was, and an overwhelming and humbling experience at the same time.
I'm sure all of those things, I'm sure. And it's what it needs to be, because coming from where we are and how fortunate we are, yes, we give back in every possible way. Even before I heard about your organization or any other small group that goes out of their way to give back, I can't think of anyone who I haven't come across who is an Armenian diaspora who lives here, that doesn't have someone in Armenia that they give something to. Whether it's a couple $100s a month to a grandma or an aunt or uncle or whatever it is, or some bodegam or friend that they have in a remote place that needs clothes. And one of the things that I love about our people is that we will make sure that our bellies are full and our children are safe and they are happy, but at the same time, in any capacity that we can give back, we always do. I always see that, and I'm so happy that we do that, because it's just kind of like an unwritten rule that you have to do it, and most people do it without even thinking twice. So.
And without having our great donators here, you know, combined force, it's impossible to achieve what we achieve. And it's not only one or two donations. We get a lot of donations. Yes, a lot of times it's not enough. We hold on to our project because we don't have enough funding, but eventually it happens. And we have a lot of good people that are donating, and they have the same mission to make sure these families are protected and
they can have a better life.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
After the big grand opening at the school with the facility, there was one other thing that that your organization did to help out a few families. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Rosanne had a fundraiser at her house right before she left for Armenia, and we raised enough funds to help 3 more families with everything, with the cows and pigs and all this food and everything that we do. So That's one of the things that we kind of like, during that opening, 3 more families were saved.
Awesome. Very good. And that's something that happened kind of spur of the moment.
Yeah, she just organized everything, did a fundraiser, you know, it was like, she did it like in 3 weeks time.
And what kind of fundraiser did she do to raise money?
So Ruzan organized the fundraiser. She paid all for all the items. Usually the fundraisers are either we do a paint party or we do a, this time was a succulent flower arrangements. So all the people who came during that day, they made succulent flowers in a pot, and wine and drink and other drinks and food. So they had a great time. We got everything, almost everything, all the funds that we needed for the families.
Very nice. And usually the fundraisers are some sort of arts and crafts activities for people to do so they can enjoy, and then they...
something that they can take something with them.
Okay.
As a reminder of that day.
Around how long does it take to feed and help a family in one of these remote villages that are further away from the city and closer to the border? What does it take for you to have packages and boxes or bags or whatever it is ready for them? How long does that take? What is the process for that to happen?
Well, I think she will be probably the best person to answer, because she coordinates everything as far as getting things moved from here, finding the families in Armenia, and I think she will be able to give you more detailed information on that.
So usually it takes, we try to help one family every Sunday. That's how we started. So with the donations, it takes about at most a week or so to get the funding through Facebook and our website. And after that, it takes about a week more to get everything organized, deliver the cow, or whatever we need to do. So at most, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to accomplish that.
2 to 3 weeks is a very short amount of time to take as many things as you package and prepare to take over there. Can you tell me exactly what do you take to a family of 5 or 10, a mom and dad and some children? What exactly do you give to them so that they're set for a long period of time?
Yeah, so basically the only thing that I sent from here are the clothes. I collect used or new clothes from here and I ship it. Everything else is bought from Armenia.
Okay.
Yeah, so I send the money, my organizer buys everything and gets it prepared. We have a special person who delivers the cow, and we have each person, several people who are responsible for different things, so everything is done in a short amount of time.
Right, right. You have the manpower to do several things at once to make sure that it gets there faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
We try to collect $2,500 for each family, and that includes livestock, whether the family wants to keep cow or pigs or sheep, depending on what they can keep. We find out, and that's how we want to support them, because they know how to take care of them and generate income. We take about a year worth of clothing for each season for every member of the family, like from head to toe. So they don't have to buy any clothes. If there are children who are school children, we buy them a year worth of school supplies. So they don't have to buy anything that year. A year worth of food.
The food that we actually buy from Armenia, we buy it from local stores, which another way helping locals to profit and sell their products.
Which also helps the economy.
Exactly, which
Right.
helps the economy. We want to make sure everyone, whatever we do, everyone benefits from this process of our mission. And another thing I wanted to add, I have to mention this, that all the packages that is being done from here, it's actually being done from Lilia's mom's apartment, from her house. She organizes everything. She actually organizes sizes, and she packs everything. And I have to mention that because that's a tremendous work. That's a lot of work that she puts into it. So
Of course. You and your mom?
Yes,
Very nice.
we're always thankful for that.
That's
So as you
amazing.
can tell, everything is on a volunteer base. No one gets paid. We don't have any expenses to have this mission move forward.
That's wonderful. And to add to that, I do know that, okay, so your mom helps you. That's a big plus. You have a teenage daughter. You have 2 children as well. The fact that, well, it's great that they're helping you with this, but the fact that you're taking time away from your loved ones, whether it be your parents or your children, and dedicating your time for the past almost 4 years to help so many people, and you take time out of, you know, maybe going out somewhere or resting or spending time with your kids just to help and organize and pack these things up and send them to the right place so that you can make such a huge difference in other people's lives is, I mean, it's just, it's the most self-fulfilling and rewarding and selfless thing you can do for your people. And as soon as I heard about your organization, I tried to do a little bit of homework and read up on it and ask you some things so that I can wrap my head around how much work needs to be put in to help hundreds of people, right?
Right.
So I really want to pat you both on the back for all of this that you're doing, because you know what it feels like to have children and to make sure that they're, you know, fulfilled in every way possible and happy in every way
Right.
possible. So I'm sure that really fuels what you're doing.
Definitely, and we want to set as an example for our children, because we want to make sure they know whatever blessings you have in life, you have to share with others.
Absolutely.
That's just the power of life.
Mhm.
And I decided to do this because it gives me purpose. It gives me a reason. I do what I do, and I want to share that experience with my children. And my kids are, I have 2 teenagers, 2 teenage girls, and they're so proud of what I do, and they're involved in it. And when I do fundraiser at my house once a year, they're just so proud of it. They want to be part of it, and I just like to set an example, and I want this to continue.
Absolutely. You know, both my brother and I were fortunate to come here with my parents in, you know, 91. I was 4, he was about less than a year old. So we grew up here. We didn't see how tough and how heartbreaking it can be to live there. So when we went back, and then when we got a little bit older and had a better understanding of what life is like over there, it really opens your eyes and it makes you grateful for what you have here. So I'm sure with having teenage girls, both of you, my daughters are a little too young, so they can't really understand that, but to have, you know, impressionable teenagers
Right.
see what you're doing, it really, like you said, humbles them, and it's a huge eye-opener.
It is,
It
definitely is.
gives you a lot of perspective on life and everything, and how happy we should be that we're here and that we can give
Sure.
back. It's not just, oh, I'm here and I'm having a better life. It's, I'm here and I'm helping as much
Yeah.
as I can. I know that once a year, just before Christmas or around Christmas time, your organization puts together a big party in Armenia. Can you tell me where you do that party and how many children you give back to as far as gifts and everything?
Yeah, so every year around December, we try to do it around Christmas time. We individually select kids from villages, borderline villages again, and that are from poor families, and we bring them to Yerevan and throw them a party. But before that, we ask them to write a letter to Santa and what they want. Believe it or not, most of the kids asked for clothes. Some kids ask for toys and other stuff, but most of them ask for clothes, shoes,
Warm clothes.
warm clothes, yeah, jackets.
Wow.
Yeah, so we individually answer those letters, put them in a gift bag, and add some other stuff. So we throw them a party with characters and music and lots of food. We have a big cake, so we basically make a magical day for them.
Absolutely. Wow, to have a letter answered by Santa, or that they write to Santa and ask for something like that. You think, we're not living in the dark ages, this is 2019, but at the same time, children are even looking for basic necessities to keep warm during the cold winter. And I'm sure you give lots of clothes for them to keep warm, but the fact that they can get something extra and be a child and just play and enjoy that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's just the thought that they write a letter. I'm sure most of them who write letters to Santa, they're not answered. So to imagine that this child will open the bag and see exactly what they've asked for is just what's our mission. That's what's our mission, to make them believe.
I'm not familiar with all of the villages. I do know Garni and Echmiadzin, and maybe some of the more well-known ones, but tell me a little bit about the ones that are further away from the city that people don't really know too much about, especially people here, and how close it is to the border, and how that impacts their everyday life.
So the purpose and mission of our organization is just that, to help families in borderline villages. And the reason that I decided to do that is because we want the families to stay there. We're a country where it's a war zone. The enemy is right around the corner, and anytime they see like
Opportunity.
small opportunity, they will take over. So we want those families in those villages, because essentially those families don't even want to leave the village. It's just that they don't have a choice. Some of them don't have a choice, so they move close to the city.
Right.
So the families that we help, they're happy that they can stay. They generate their own income after we leave, so they will stay there for generations. And that's
grow.
what we want.
Right, absolutely. I know this is a little bit controversial, but there's two sides to what I'm about to explain. One of them is you see these families that have mom and a dad, maybe grandma, grandpa living with them, or an aunt or something like that, and you see them having 2 or 4 or 6 or 10 kids. And you think, oh my gosh, okay, well they have so many children, and they are barely able to feed maybe 4 out of the 10 or 2 out of the 6 or whatever it is, like a fraction of what they should have, in order for the children to have the nutrients that they need to grow, or the clothes that they need to be warm in the winter, and whatever other things that they need to survive. And you're thinking, well, why do they have so many children if they can't take care of them? And on the flip side, as we had talked about when I first called you for this interview, which was one of my questions that I was really concerned about, is, why have so many children if you can't take care of them? And on the other hand, when we started talking about it, we don't have a lot of people in our country as much as we should. And maybe some couples are hesitant to have children in a country where they're struggling. They think, oh, why should I bring a child into a life like this? But then if you think about it, the more children they have, even though they might go through some tough times, and they grow, and we become more and more and more, as we should, as any country who is who has gone through a genocide or a white genocide or very, very harsh means of living, you know, you should still have those children if that's what's going to bring you the happiness, and that you could still kind of grow your family and grow your nation. So
yeah, we need to be there to support them.
yes, and that's how you guys are helping with that.
Yeah, that question has bothered me for a long time. When I started doing this work, it has bothered me because I would see these pictures of kids barefoot in cold, clothes that are like 3-4 times larger than their size, and then I find out that the mother is pregnant again, having like 5th or 6th child, and it has bothered me a lot. But at the same time, after I understood the reason why they're having kids one after another, I kind of like I understood them, and I started supporting them more. So basically the reason these families, poor families, have more children is because basically the government. The government is the reason. For the past 25 years, they've been robbing the village people, and they basically don't have anything right now. They've sold their cows, they sold their houses, and what a villager needs is a land and animals. That's how they survive. That's how they always survived.
Right.
Family goes and gets a loan from the bank, of course, to buy seeds to plant, to harvest, to support the family.
Right.
So they go to the bank, get a loan, and I would say that the loan is like the percentage is way higher.
Interest.
Yeah, the interest.
Right.
The interest on the loan is
Right.
really high. So the time comes for harvest, and I don't know about now, after the revolution, but before, the big guys, the oligarchs, they would come to the villager and say, you have to sell this at a very low cost.
To them.
To them, yeah, specifically to them.
Right.
And if you don't sell it, you're gonna have problems. So, I mean, imagine a villager,
Right.
you know, has no choice. They have to sell. They threaten with family, they threaten with, I don't know, whatever they
Violence.
have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the villager sells it at very low cost, can't even pay the loan with that.
Right.
What are they gonna do? They have a loan, they're hungry, they have a lot of debt at the store because they took a loan, I mean, they get food to be able to pay after the harvest. So that's not happening. What are they gonna do? Well, the government has one of the white genocide plans, that was the plan, is to make the families more poor. So the government gives 1 million dirhams.
Which is how many dollars?
That's about $2,000, from which only $1,000 gets to the family. I don't
So they
know
tax that on top of it.
It's not. I don't know if it's tax or not, but it's somehow it goes to a child's fund. I'm not sure what that is. I have no idea. So they get that $1,000, pay off the loan, pay off the debt at the store, you know, buy a little bit of food, and the money is gone.
For having that child.
For having the child. So
Right.
now they have one more child to take care of.
Right.
And they're right, it's a cycle. They're
they
at
keep
the bottom
doing
of the
that.
cycle, and they keep doing that.
Right.
So that is the reason.
It's understandable, because when you are forced to be in a situation where you have no other resource or choice or way out, I can understand. I may not agree or may not want that kind of life for them, or they might not want that kind of life, but they have been forced to make that decision.
Right.
And I understand that. However, the way that you are providing these livestocks for them to hold on to and grow and make money and live and survive and have food and nutrients for themselves and their children, that's what's going to help them kind of break that cycle. Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to break the cycle. Also, we provide refrigerator and a lot of appliances too, because if we give a cow, they need to keep the milk. Where are they going to keep the milk? They don't have a fridge, so A lot of kids, a lot of laundry, so a washing machine. They need to bake their own bread. They don't have an oven, so an oven.
Right,
so we provide the means for them to at least live a normal life.
Yeah.
Close to very, barely,
As close to a normal life as possible.
Yeah, as close as possible.
I don't know how the three of you, with a little bit of help that you have in Armenia, with all the packages and shipping and things like that we talked about earlier, I don't know how you manage to help and feed and clothe hundreds and hundreds of people for the past 4 years. I don't know how you do it. I would have to come and see it to understand how it's all done. I believe you 100%. I see. It's amazing. But what you three plus the help that you have, what little help that you have, in such a short amount of time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month or two to get the right funds. Every few months you're going over there with a new family, a new village, and helping them out. It's really incredible. So I know you're proud, but I just want to tell you from someone who just kind of is new to everything that you're doing. I'm so incredibly happy that you're doing it, and so proud of you, the two of you, for doing the impossible for these people. So bravo, very cool.
Thank you.
Very awesome.
So on a yearly basis, the organization helps over 60 families with food. That's our visit. That's our weekly visits that we say. We help about 120 elderly with food. We help disabled kids. That would be about 60 to 70 disabled children with equipment. On top of that, we distribute firewood in the winter, close to December. It goes up to the following February, and then the party for the children. So that's basically what we do every year.
It's amazing. I love to hear those numbers. They blow my mind. That it's so many people being helped. Do you know around how many families there are in all of the borderline villages?
Yeah, the village that we started helping in 2018, Mezmazirik village, has 2,500 people.
Okay.
But Mezmazirik is in a position where it's surrounded by other small villages. So, I don't know, those are small, like 100, 200 residents. So we have a lot of work, and I decided to continue on in 2019, focusing on Mezmazirik village. We help families in Vanadzor, Vartenis, surrounding areas, but our focus is on Mezmazirik.
So I just wanted to add one of my experiences when I visited Mezmazirik. I noticed when we deliver the goods and the help to certain families that are in line to be helped, other neighbors, they just join you and they just start uploading the truck. It's very nice to see how united they are, and there's no jealousy going on. Because they know when it comes time for their own family, we're gonna be there, because it's like a line of families we know we have to reach. So we have a lot of work still. We need to do a lot of work. There's so many families to help, and our mission is just one family at a time.
Absolutely, and that's something that would be kind of curious to our viewers. What happens when one family gets a big shipment coming in and they see that, and the fact that the other families come in and help them out, and there's no hard feelings about it, because they know, just wait a little bit and your time is going to come next. And the fact that they're still helping out, and I'm sure when you're not there or any other help is not there, they're going over to their neighbor's house and saying, hey, come over, let's break some bread together.
We're Armenians. We love to help each other. We love having neighbors. It's a lot of times when there's something going on in a family, everyone is there united to help each other. And that's the feeling I had. What I saw, how neighbors were helping each other, it kind of, I felt so happy that our people haven't lost that in
that hospitality.
Times of hospitality, exactly. And through hard time, through everything that we went through, we're still united. When it comes to a point where we have to help each other, we're all united. And I'm so happy to know that I grew up in Armenia. I was only 16 when I immigrated to the United States, and that's how I grew up. Families and neighbors helping each other when it's needed, and I was so happy to see it still exists. And it's just it's overwhelming experience. And I know when it comes to the next family, they have the feeling, they believe that it's going to be them next and everyone else is going to help them. So that was very touching for me to experience.
Yes.
And at the same time, I want to thank all of our donors that have helped us to have this mission move forward, because without any small donations, small or big, it doesn't matter. Even the effort that they put to help us around with little things, without the help, without the donations, our mission will be impossible. And I wanted to thank everyone, all my friends, family, people that we know, people that we don't even know, and anonymously they are donating to our Facebook pages. I want to specifically thank them for believing in us and having the mission, having this one mission become everyone's mission, and that's where we're successful.
Absolutely.
And thank you very much for including us.
It's been my pleasure. I absolutely love hearing things like this, because just like anyone who would be watching right now, as someone noregots, kamhinegots, doesn't matter. Like you said, that feeling, that sense of community and just having each other's back is still there. So I really love to hear that. And when they see that there are people like you, it also gives them hope, because they feel like maybe not today, but tomorrow it's going to happen. And they won't ever feel any kind of bitterness towards that, because they know that people here will always have their back.
Definitely. And all the gratitude I got from the people that we visited, all the blessings and the hugs and the kisses and the tears I shared with them, it was just overwhelming. It's such a humbling experience. It really makes you grow as a human being, and it gives you more power and sense of wanting to do more for families like that.
Especially when you see all your hard work pay off.
Definitely. And our goal is to go to Armenia together and experience it together. It's just absolutely amazing feeling.
Yeah. You deserve to have that together, absolutely. After so many years of doing everything that you do all the way over here, it's a lot of work. And you see, the hard work pay off, but at the same time, you want to also experience it when you're there. So I managed to make through the whole interview without crying, but it's very it's so touching to me. It really makes me so happy to hear what you're doing, and I'm sure everyone watching feels the same.
Thank you for so much. Having us. It was a pleasure.
Likewise. Thank you. It's mutual. So for everyone watching through my channel, please let the viewers know how they can give back and contribute in whatever capacity that your organization needs.
Our fundraisers are done through Facebook and website. So Facebook, they can search for 8 Beyond Borders or Helping Needy in Armenia, and we'll just pop right up, because we have a group and a page. It would be nice if people like the page, because the more people like the page, the more people know and their friends know about us. Our website is www.8beyondborders.org, and the donation page is /donate.
So to wrap up tonight's interview with the two of you, thank you so much for joining me. I'm so grateful to have you here and for you to take the time to explain everything that you're doing, not just for me, but obviously to our viewers as well. I'm very grateful for the both of you very
Thanks
much.
for having us.
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And this concludes our interview with Lilia and Rosanne for Candid Coffee.